Okay, good morning. We are on Matthew chapter 22. And Yeshua responded and spoke to them again by parables and said, "The reign of the heavens is like a man, a sovereign, who made a wedding feast for his son, and sent out his servants to call those who were invited to the wedding feast, but they would not come. Again, he sent out other servants, saying, 'Say to those who are invited, see, I have prepared my dinner. My oxen and fattened cattle are slaughtered, and all that is ready. Come to the wedding feast.' But they disregarded it and went their way, this one to his field, that one to his trade. And the rest, having seized his servants, insulted and killed them. But when the sovereign heard, he was wroth, and sent out his soldiers, destroyed those murderers, and set their city on fire. Then he said to his servants, 'The wedding feast indeed is ready, but those who were invited were not worthy. Therefore, go into the street corners, and as many as you find, invite to the wedding feast.' And those servants went out into the street corners, and gathered all whom they found, both wicked and good. And the wedding hall was filled with guests. And when the sovereign came in and viewed the guest, he saw there was a man who had not put on a wedding garment. And he said to him, 'Friend, how did you come in here not having a wedding garment?' And he was speechless. And the sovereign said to the servants, 'Bind him hand and foot, take him away, and throw him out into the outer darkness, where there shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth. For many are called, but few are chosen.' Then the Pharisees went and plotted how to trap him in his words. And they sent to him their taught ones with the Herodians, saying, 'Teacher, we know that you are true, and teach the way of Elohim in truth, and it does not concern you about anyone, for you are not partial to any man. Then say to us, what do you think? Is it right to pay taxes to Caesar or not?' But knowing their wickedness, Yeshua said, 'Why do you try me, you hypocrites? Show me the coin of the tax.' And they brought to him a denarius. And he said to them, 'Whose likeness and inscription is this?' They said to him, 'Caesar's.' And he said to them, 'Then give to Caesar what is Caesar's, and to Elohim what is Elohim's.' And having heard, they marveled, and left him and went away. On that day, Sadducees, who say there is no resurrection, came to him and asked him, saying, 'Teacher, Moshe said that if anyone should die having no children, his brother shall marry his wife and raise offspring for his brother. And there were with us 7 brothers, and the first died after he had married, and having no children, left his wife to his brother. In the same way, the second also, and the third unto the 7th. And last of all, the woman died too. At the resurrection then, whose wife of the 7 shall she be? For all had her.' And Yeshua answering said to them, 'You go astray, not knowing the scriptures, nor the power of Elohim. For in the resurrection they do not marry, nor are they given in marriage, but are as messengers of Elohim in heaven. And concerning the resurrection of the dead, have you not read what was spoken to you by Elohim, saying, I am the Elohim of Abraham, and the Elohim of Yitzhak, and the Elohim of Yaakov? Elohim is not the Elohim of the dead, but of the living.' And when the crowds heard, they were astonished at his teaching. And the Pharisees, having heard that he had silenced the Sadducees, were gathered together, and one of them, one learned in the Torah, did question, trying him and saying, "Teacher, which is the greatest command in the Torah?" And Yeshua said to him, "You shall love Yehovah, your Elohim, with all your heart and with all your being and with all your mind. This is the first and great command, and the second is like it. You shall love your neighbor as yourself. On these two commands hang all the Torah and the prophets." And when the Pharisees were gathered together, Yeshua asked them, saying, "What do you think concerning the Messiah? Whose son is he?" They said to him, "The son of David." He said to them, "Then how does David in the Spirit call him Master, saying, 'Jehovah said to my Master, sit at my right hand until I make your enemies a footstool of your feet'? If then David calls him Master, how is he his son?" And no one was able to answer him a word. And from that day on, no one bold enough to ask him any more questions. Then Yeshua spoke to the crowds and to his taught ones, saying, "The scribes and the Pharisees sit on the seat of Moshe. Therefore, whatever they say to you to guard, guard and do. But do not do according to their works, for they say and do not do. For they bind heavy burdens, hard to bear, and lay them on men's shoulders, but with their finger they do not wish to move them. And they do all their works to be seen by men, and they make their tefillin wide and lengthen the tzitzit of their garments, and they love the best place at the feast, and the best seats in the congregations, and the greetings in the marketplaces, and to be called by men, Rabbi, Rabbi. But you, do not be called Rabbi, for one is your teacher, the Messiah, and you are all brothers. And do not call anyone on earth your father, for one is your Father. He who is in the heavens. Neither be called leaders, for one is your leader, the Messiah. And the greatest among you shall be your servant. And whoever exalts himself shall be humbled, and whoever humbles himself shall be exalted. But woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, because you shut up the rain of the heavens before men. For you do not go in, nor do you allow those who are entering to go in. Woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, because you eat up widows' houses, and for a show make long prayers. Because of this you shall receive greater judgment. Woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, because you go out about the land and sea to win one convert, and when he is won, you make him a son of Gehenna, twofold more than yourselves. Woe to you, blind guides, who say, whoever swears by the dwelling place, it does not matter, but whoever swears by the gold of the dwelling place is bound by oath. Fools and blind, for which is greater, the gold or the dwelling place that sets the gold apart? And whoever swears by the slaughter place, it does not matter, but whoever swears by the gift that is on it is bound by oath. Fools and blind, for which is greater, the gift or the slaughter place that set the gift apart? He then who swears by the slaughter place swears by it, and by all that is upon it. And he who swears by the dwelling place swears by it, and by him who is dwelling in it. And he who swears by the heaven swears by the throne of Elohim, and by him who is sitting upon it. Woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, because you tithe the mint and the anise and the cumin, and have neglected the weightier matters of the Torah, the right ruling, and the compassion and the belief. These need to have been done without neglecting the others. Blind guides, straining out a gnat and swallowing a camel. Woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, because you clean the outside of the cup and dish, but inside they are filled with plunder and unrighteousness. Blind Pharisees, first clean the inside of the cup and dish, so that the outside of them becomes clean too. Woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, because you are like whitewashed tombs, which outwardly indeed look well, but inside are filled with dead men's bones and all uncleanness. So you too outwardly indeed appear righteous to men, but indeed you are filled with hypocrisy and lawlessness. Woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, because you build the tombs of the prophets and decorate the monuments of the righteous, and say, if we have lived in the days of our fathers, we would not have taken part with them in the blood of the prophets. Thus you bear witness against yourselves that you are sons of those who did murder the prophets, and you fill up the measure of your fathers. Serpents, broads of adders, how would you escape the judgment of Gehinnom? Because of this, see, I send you prophets and wise men and scholars of Scripture. Some of them you shall kill and impale, and some of them you shall flog in your congregations and persecute from city to city, so that on you should come all of the righteous blood shed on the earth, from the blood of righteous, Habel, to the blood of Zechariah, son of Berechiah, whom you murdered between the dwelling place and the slaughter place. Truly I say to you, all this shall come upon this generation. Yerushalayim, Yerushalayim, killing the prophets and stoning. Sorry about that. Knock at the door and the dogs went wild. We'll go to verse 33. Let's see, where was I? We'll just go to verse 33. And when the crowds heard, they were astonished at his teaching. But the Pharisees, having heard that he had silenced the Sadducees, were gathered together. And one of them, oh gosh, no, I was nowhere near there. Ooh, this is really messed me up. We're all the way in chapter 23, verse 36. Truly I say to you, all this shall come upon this generation. Yerushalayim, Yerushalayim, killing the prophets and stoning those who are sent to her. How often I wish to gather your children together, the way a hen gathers her chickens under her wings, but you would not. See, your house is left to you laid waste. For I say to you, from now on you shall by no means see me until you say, blessed is he who is coming in the name of Yehovah. Baruch haba b'shem Adonai. And going out, Yeshua went away from the set-apart place, and his taught ones came near to point out to him the buildings of the set-apart place. And Yeshua said to them, Do you not see all these? Truly I say to you, not one stone shall be left here upon another at all, which shall not be thrown down. And he sat on the Mount of Olives. The taught ones came to him separately, saying, Say to us, when shall this be? What is the sign of your coming and of the end of the age? And Yeshua answering said to them, Take heed that no one leads you astray. For many shall come in my name, saying, I am the Messiah, and they shall lead many astray. And you shall begin to hear of fightings and reports of fightings. See that you are not troubled, for these have to take place, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, and reign against reign, and there shall be scarcities of food, and deadly diseases, and earthquakes in places. And all these are the beginning of birth pains. Take note that birth pains, when a woman is in labor, her birth pains begin to grow closer and closer in time. Her contractions get closer and closer and closer. Something to note, especially in the day and age that we are living in. Then they shall deliver you up to affliction and kill you, and you shall be hated by all nations for my name's sake. And then many shall stumble, and they shall deliver up one another, and shall hate one another. And many false prophets shall rise up and lead many astray. And because of the increase in lawlessness, the love of many shall become cold. But he who shall have endured to the end shall be saved. And this good news of the reign shall be proclaimed in all the world as a witness to all the nations, and then the end shall come. So when you see the abomination that lays waste, spoken of by Daniel the prophet, set up in the set-apart place, he who reads, let him understand. Let those who are in Yehuda flee to the mountains. Let him who is on the housetop not come down to take whatever out of his house, and let him who is in the field not turn back to his garments. And woe to those who are pregnant and to those who are nursing children in those days. And pray that your flight does not take place in winter or on the Sabbath. For then there shall be great distress, such as has not been since the beginning of the world until this time, no, nor ever shall be. And in those days if those days were not shortened, no flesh would be saved. But for the sake of the chosen ones, those days shall be shortened. If anyone then says to you, look, here's the Messiah, or there, do not believe. For false messiahs and false prophets shall arise, and they shall show great signs and wonders as to lead astray, if possible, even the chosen ones. See, I have forewarned you. So if they say to you, look, he is in the desert, do not go out. Or look, he is in the inner rooms, do not believe. For as the lightning comes from the east and shines to the west, so also shall the coming of the Son of Adam be. For wherever the dead body is, there the vultures shall be gathered together. And immediately after the distress of those days, the sun shall be darkened, and the moon shall not give its light, and the stars shall fall from the heavens, and the powers of the heavens shall be shaken. And then the sign of the Son of Adam shall appear in the heaven, and then all the tribes of the earth shall mourn, and they shall see the Son of Adam coming on the clouds with power and much esteem. And he shall send his messengers with a great sound of a trumpet, and they shall gather together his chosen ones from the four winds, from one end of the heavens to the other. And learn this parable from the fig tree. When its branch has already become tender and puts forth leaves, you know that summer is near. So you also, when you see all these, know that he is near at the doors. Truly I say to you, This generation shall by no means pass away until all this takes place. The heavens and the earth shall pass away, but my words shall by no means pass away. Just for clarity, for those of you who don't understand what he means when he says this generation, he means this mankind will not vanish from the earth. He didn't mean generation in the sense of like a 10-year span like we normally think of. Okay, but concerning that day and the hour, no one knows, not even the messengers of the heavens, but my Father only. And as the days of Noah, so also shall the coming of the Son of Adam be. For as they were in the days before the flood, eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage, until the day that Noah entered the ark. And they did not know until the flood came and took them all away. So also shall the coming of the Son of Adam be. Then two shall be in the field, the one is taken and the one is left. 2 women shall be grinding at the mill, one is taken and one is left. Watch therefore, for you do not know what hour your master is coming. And know this, that if the master of the house had known what hour the thief would come, he would have watched and not allowed his house to be broken into. Because of this, be ready too, for the Son of Adam is coming at an hour when you do not expect him. Who then is a trustworthy and wise servant, whom his master set over his household to give them food in season? Blessed is the servant whom his master, having come, shall find doing so. Truly I say to you, that he shall set him over all his possessions. But if that evil servant says in his heart, my master is delaying in coming, and begins to beat his fellow servants and to eat and drink with the drunkards, the master of that servant shall come on a day when he does not expect it, and at an hour he does not know, and shall cut him in two, and appoint his portion with the hypocrites. There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth. A lot was said in Scripture today. Anything that your heart pondered while I read, I would encourage you to meditate on the Scripture. But also, if there's anything that your heart is really wondering about, study it, look into it, research it. Find whatever truth needs to be found. The Lord is faithful and will reveal truth to anyone who seeks for it. Have a blessed day, and I'll see you at lunch.